Hello and welcome into Business Done Better Summit. I'm so excited to be here. My name is Jennifer Zenz-Olson, and I just wanted to introduce myself quickly full screen before I move us into screen share so that you can all see some of the content that I'm going to be sharing with you today. So introducing myself to you, we're going to start really far at the top here in my presentation. And what we're going to do is just talk a little bit about who I am, why we're here, and what we're going to achieve today by being together at this time. So as said, Business Done Better is the summit that we're here to do today. And I'm really excited to be invited in here to share all things energetic to elevate both your business and your life. So I'm really excited you're here. And I hope that you're going to walk away with a different insight and awareness about how you can show up to your business and be really successful using some superpowers you might actually not know you even have. So today, the topic that I'm going to be covering is harnessing your superpowers to elevate your business and life. My name is Jennifer Zenz-Olson. I'm a licensed independent clinical social worker, and actually I'm turned transformational purpose coach and expert. And so I'm going to talk about that in just a moment here. So what I wanted to do is just open with a little bit of information about who I am, where I've been, and the background that I bring to the table to be sharing this information with you today. So first of all, I have over 21, probably 22 years in clinical social work. Much of that time, the bulk of that time, over 20 years, was actually spent in psychotherapy, providing counseling to people in a really traditional private practice, and also day treatment and community mental health. So that's kind of the background and the foundation with which I've built my coaching. And some of my other healing modalities that I offer that are background information for me are certified meditation expert, I'm a Reiki master, a yoga instructor, crystal healer, emotion code and tapping practitioner, and I also love providing sound healing. So those are some of the extra tools that I bring. And really what I do is combine the foundation of my clinical practice and all these healing certifications to offer my services. I'm also blessedly a best-selling Amazon author, which was really, really fun and special to me. And I'm a coach, speaker, teacher, trainer, and author. So that's not why we're here today. You didn't need my curriculum vitae, but I always like talking about who you're sitting with. It's always fun to me to learn about the person sitting in front of me. And so today, the topics we're going to be covering are this: the effect of energy in your life, how to be the boss of that, the layers of you, which will make sense in a few minutes, experiential practices, which is what I'm all about, is providing an actual experience for you, your body, your mind, to elevate your awareness and help grow you so you can take that with you in part of your toolbox, which is the last piece in that energetic shifting toolbox that I'm going to share with you at the end. So some myths I want to dispel that I think are powerful. A piece of my story is this: I now serve people in midlife in purpose. The reason that I do that was because I was 40 in a private practice that was thriving and doing really well, and I was really unhappy. And I felt like something was broken and wrong. And so I just knew when I opened this private practice, this was going to be the be all end all. I was going to retire there. And so when I started to have some hitches, I really thought something was terribly wrong with me. And so I went through a really kind of difficult period of time trying to unravel what that meant for me. And so what I do now is serve people that are maybe in that same boat and they're a little bit nervous, that they're like, wait a minute, I did this whole thing, or this was my map of life and I got here and it's actually not unfolding the way that I believed that it would. And so what we need to do is make what I call lane changes. And so this was what happened to me at 40. And I just want to share a little of that personal story that's now who I'm coaching, are people who are in that space and trying to kind of figure that out. And so some of these myths are pieces that I have experienced and I've experienced in coaching clients and the other people that I work with in the field. So one is we have to hustle to be successful. Not long ago, I was asked to come in and speak to a women's community group about this very same thing, that a lot of their clientele was feeling like they had a hustle, they were burning out, they were exhausted. And so we want to really take a look at that. That's not real. It's a myth that we have to just hustle, grind to be successful. Not true. That success is measured only in dollars. Now I get it. If you're a business owner, you have to have the income to make sure you're covering all the costs of your functioning, whatever that is, business, building, staff, whatever it looks like, your income, whatever that is. There's a realistic piece to this. And I would also say that wealth is something so much bigger than even just money. So as long as we can get those bottom line things covered, I want you to expand your idea of wealth and success in a really different way. So this is all energy based, and we'll get to that in a second. There's also very commonly a sense of scarcity around people and that there isn't enough. So one of the things I find is that sometimes as business owners, we can be grasping. We're like, We're nervous, we're scared, we're overwhelmed, we're hustling. All of that carries an energy that can kind of actually get in our way. So what we want to do is learn to have a different experience with energy. So energy is defined as this: the strength and vitality required for sustained physical or mental activity. That's one way. I mean, that's fine. And so I want us to sort of start with an idea that this is what energy is proper. And what does that really turn into for us as human beings? So we're going to discuss and dive into that just a little bit more deeply in a moment. But what I do want us to really harness is that we are made up of energy in every single facet. So you are energy and you are in energy. So I want you to think about this really like I'm a vibration, I'm a frequency. So when I show up in the world, people are going to have an experience of me. So Maya Angelou said, I'm going to share my favorite quote of all time, which is actually the very basis of my work, which is she said, people will forget what you said, they'll forget what you did, but they will never forget how you made them feel. And think about how powerful that is, that your sustained customers, your network, the people around you come into your world and stay because you have a beautiful energy about you. So we also want to think, for example, about, and I know this is a great story from a coaching client of mine, just a small one, that she would go into work and at 7:45 before they started at 8 a.m., just having walked in the door, there was a colleague that would literally greet her every morning at the door and be like, well, today's going to suck. She had not even gotten in the door to set her lunch down or get her computer on, and she was already being greeted by that. That is energy. And you know what I'm talking about. You know that I'm talking about the people at the water cooler, which I don't even know that any of us calls it a water cooler anymore, let's be honest. But let's just say, right, that, yep, this is the person that's having a conversation and gossiping at the water cooler, or they're complaining about everything that's not going well in the day, or the business owner, whatever it might be, that carries such a negative energy. And we feel that even when we're in someone's sphere, right? So we begin to take energy the way that we see it defined here, and we morph it into an awareness that what I'm really doing is having a relationship with all things around me that is really truly defined by energy. And so we want to think more deeply about how this looks and also understand that you, and this is going to sound like a little bit of a strange idea maybe for some people, which is you actually have a relationship with your business. So much like we have a relationship with things like food, family, and friends, we also have a relationship with our business. And we want to begin to think about how we show up to that. So if I'm scared, nervous, always hustling, exhausted, I'm raw, I'm showing up, and the energy that I'm bringing to my business relationship is just that. It's kind of in the dumps. And so I don't know about you, but for me, one of the things I really value, and when I made my transition into my business now, that was really powerful, was I now wake up every day creative, excited, motivated, inspired, passionate. So that's kind of how I would really want you to feel every single day, is lifted up, excited, and ready to go do what you're meant to do in the world as well as you can. And we need the energy to be able to do that. So energy within and energy without. So we want to understand, like, what are the differences? So the energies that we carry within us, pretty straight. And so some of this is going to feel vaguely psychology because I'm going to be pulling that thread through from my history. And then some of it's a little bit more of that spiritual realm, or we're going to talk about it. Maybe you can get there in a scientific way, but we're going to kind of combine both. So within energy that we carry is thoughts, emotions, vitality, your physical well-being, your wisdom and intuition, and what I call your soul signature, which is actually your purpose. So that's kind of the energy we carry around with us as our spark. And that's how people would know you the most, actually, right? That Maya Angelou quote about people will remember how I made them feel. That's what we're getting at right there. Outside energy influences our nature, people, places, situations, homes, right? We just think that every single thing around us then is also contributing. So we're in an incessant movement with energy in and around us. Why is it so important? So you might be sitting here with me today and wait a minute, what is the superpower piece of this? Because truly, when you show up from a state of feeling really elevated and purposeful and aligned and joyful, that energy flows into your business. And what happens is when people come to your business and experience it, they experience that very feeling. They feel expansive and held and seen and respected. And that is really a powerful experience. So your client is having a whole different experience, not just you are having this experience, your clients, your family, your friends. When you begin to develop a relationship with your energy in a different way, it flows into every single relationship in your life, including your business. This is a really unsung hero. What I find is that people deeply look at psychology which is great. There's a place for psychology. That's not what I'm saying. I worked in it for over 20 years. And they miss the boat, they miss the mark, that energy is just as crucial as all those pieces that we've identified scientifically. So we've identified, right, thoughts, emotions, behaviors as being very, very important, and they are. And that's not where it stops. So if we expand our awareness into an area of energy and I go, oh, there's something so much bigger at play here. When I show up, how I show up is just as pivotal as all of these things. And there is science to back that, but we're not going to go there today. So this is a note from someone that I trained under, and I just love it because this is a really important component of what I do for work and why I do it and how it relates to what you're going to be talking about today. So freeing yourself from your trapped emotions can make you feel more secure and motivated, can liberate you to create relationships, career, and the life that you always wanted. An emotion is actually a thing, an energy that can be left behind. So this is Dr. Bradley Nelson, who created the emotion code. What's really beautiful about it is that it's tapping into the spaces where we might store blocks in our bodies because we've had tough moments. So let's just say your business has gone through a really tough experience, for example, a pandemic, and you really had to hustle and reconfigure and try to keep it elevated and moving in the middle of this really significant issue going on worldwide. So you can now have something that's trapped in the body that you're holding. And what that can do is it can get in the way of you proceeding and doing the things that you always wanted to do the way you want to do them. So this is the benefit of going in and taking a look at how can I harness and create an energy that's sustainable and beautiful so that when people come in and they're around me, my business is elevated and feels like a really beautiful place and practice to be in. That's really the goal for most of us. I know it's the goal for mine. So I just wanted you to have that experience of energy is an exchange with the world around you. It's not just within you, it's outside of you, and it's a constant and fluid exchange. Beautiful. So the energy of you, what does this mean? I want to identify a little bit of this because I feel like this is the groundwork for some of the practices that I'm going to walk you through and why. So let's talk about this. This is hearkening back a little bit to my yogic philosophy days, and this is actually sort of an offshoot of something called the kosha system. So what I did was I adapted a little bit more for the work that I do in the way that I view people. So what you'll see here is there's a physical body, a subtle body, don't lose any energy in this, and a causal body. Really what that means is there's a physical system, then there's kind of the internal systems that we move into, the thoughts, feelings, intuition, wisdom. And then all the way on the inside is that like the heart, that heart space, and your consciousness or soul, your purpose, your energy, the spark, right? So that's the way that I look at it. Now, why do I say that's so important? If you don't understand that you're made up of layers, then you might miss that when you go in to do work for yourself to elevate your life, your business, you're also going to want to do healing modalities that go through all those layers. So what we want to think about is like therapy back in my therapeutic days, that's really dealing with thoughts, feelings, and behaviors for the most part, right? But then what's really neat is we start adding in things like a breathwork practice, and that goes through all of the layers of your being. Meditation, energy work, goes all the way through all the layers. So what we want to begin doing is developing a practice and an experiential toolbox that we can use that's actually moving you through all these layers. Really powerful, extra powerful healing and work. So we are energy. The layers of our being are all these things: purpose, physical, thought, emotional, wisdom and intuition, heart and soul, right? So we, again, want healing to be in all those layers. What I'm going to invite you to do now is I'm going to invite you to take a brief self-assessment. So I'm going to invite you, no one can see you, right? You're probably listening to the summit and you're maybe at work and maybe over your lunch or what you're doing, but you're in front of a computer. And I'm going to invite you that if it's possible that you might close your eyes or soften your gaze and don't feel like you have to look at me or the screen at this time. So what I really want you to begin to think about is how spacious and beautiful and elevated and connected are you feeling to your business today? So on a scale of 0 to 10, 0 is not at all. There's nothing there. And 10 is the best possible way to feel. In relationship to this, into feeling spacious and expansive and abundant, how well are you feeling on that scale? Without any judgment or criticism, this is not a space to be unkind to yourself. I just want you to kind of take a snapshot so that we understand what that looks like. And then what we're going to do is we are going to move into a breathwork practice. So right where you are, keeping that number handy, we're going to move into a breathwork practice. All you need to do is take a nice tall seat, anchoring in through the seat, beginning to deepen and lengthen the breath. And this is a beautiful, expansive lung and heart breath. So as the eyes are softly closed or gently peering at something that's focused in front of you, we're going to begin to take a breath in, expanding the lungs to make a beautiful space. Feeling the expansion of the lungs, the chest, and the back, and then exhaling that out. We're going to do one more of those. Inhaling and expanding to make space, feeling that expansion, pulling those shoulders back a little bit if they're tucked in because we do so much work in front of us today. We want to pull those shoulders up and back, down the back a little bit, relaxing and releasing into that so that we can get a nice fuller breath. And now I invite you to imagine and really focus that you can fill just the right lung with air. So bringing your awareness in, breathing in, nice full breath, and imagine that you're just dealing in the right side of the lungs. Expanding and contracting. For a couple of breaths here, just expanding and contracting this right side of the lungs. And when you're done with that breath, I invite you to now take that awareness and move into the left side of the lungs. So now we're going to just be expanding and breathing in with deep awareness in the left side of the lungs. Just sensing that expansion and contraction. And completing that breath cycle. Coming back in to have the entire set of lungs full and expansive breath. Really experiencing that full expansion and contraction as you release the breath out. Breath flowing in and out. And now flowing in and out through the front and the back of the body. Imagine the whole breath is actually even able to move outside the body. Beautiful, beautiful. Inhale, all sides of the body, and then exhale, full body out. And just noticing what happens when you breathe this way, when you breathe a little bit differently, a little more deeply. And now releasing that, just releasing the effortful breath and finding a really comfortable, fluid and easy breath. And I invite you now to take, and if it's accessible, just tapping the chest. Again, you don't have to watch anything. You don't have to see anything I'm doing. Just allow yourself this time to be in a different space, creating a different energy for yourself and your business. Tapping the chest, and I would typically walk you through a more in-depth tapping experience, but because we're abbreviated time today, we're going to do it in a little bit easier way. So just tapping the heart space. And just repeating my words in your mind. Even though I sometimes feel overwhelmed or concerned about my business, I honor, trust, and accept myself completely. Even though I sometimes become overwhelmed in my business and my life, I honor, trust, and accept myself completely. Still tapping, just gently tapping. Sometimes I feel overwhelmed. Afraid I'm not doing enough. Afraid there might not be enough. And I've also seen that there can be enough. I can trust that I don't have to hustle. That I am capable of receiving beautiful success and abundance in my business and life. That I can connect with my energy and show up exactly as I am meant to in my best and highest form in my business and life. I fully receive abundance and success. I am open to receiving abundance and success. Success is available to me in all its forms. I am full of abundance. I create and experience abundance and beautiful energy in my business and life. Therefore, my business and life are both abundant. In fact, I am overflowing with abundance. Deeply connected energetically to myself, to my business, to what it means to be successful and aligned, to trust myself to know what to do, to love and care for this business relationship, that it overflows into my life in the most beautiful way. And that my business and life are overflowing with abundance, beautiful energy. And I can tap into this anytime I need. And now stopping that tapping, releasing that hand into your lap, taking a breath, and still staying exactly where you are. Reconnecting with the breath. As we settle in here, giving yourself permission to slow and relax the breath. Just sensing and experiencing, making more space. Imagine breathing in and out through the whole body. Creating space for beautiful energy to flow in that supports your business and your life. That abundance in all forms is flowing in. Perhaps saying to yourself, I see that I do not need to grip or hustle, but rather that abundance is an energy. It's a vibration that I can harness and call in by living in the energy of it. To celebrate, to call it in. It is a joy to know this form of abundance. I see and know that my business is an extension of my energy and soul. That it has an energy, a vibration. And I can trust that everything is in perfect order. That when I am in order and my energy is in order, my business will follow. And when I'm in this state, I cannot help but calling in abundance, prosperity, happiness, joy, connection, success. It is my natural state, this abundance. And breathing here as you feel the body and mind fill with the light and energy of this state of abundance by calling up a moment of pure, beautiful celebration in your life. Or calling a moment of pure joy, a birth, wedding, graduation, a success. A time you felt deeply proud, full of life and happiness. And for a moment, re-experience that abundance, the celebration, and feel how that energy is aligning with the state of abundance. As you breathe, always returning to the breath. And now imagine that you are surrounded in abundance. It could be gold, money, flowers, nature, sunshine, warmth. a color you love, and is absolutely surrounding you, filling you full of a deep state of wonder, joy, people, connections, wisdom, intuition, and knowing. And take this sense of trust, knowing that abundance and energy is flowing in every way that is most needed. When you are open and receptive in this space, everything that you need is flowing in and in alignment. And now allow that trust to expand to every cell and corner of the body. Breathing in and sending that trust in every direction. And then as you exhale, as if you are blowing that trust in all directions, filling the space, being nurtured in the energy and abundance that is surrounding you. Beginning to see and experience that expansion as the trust and abundance flow together in a beautiful dance of light and energy. And breathing here as you sense the beauty of this moment, of the energy that you called in, the trust and the fluidity of all the things that are flowing in, creating more expansive, successful, and beautiful business and life. And just breathing here with that idea for this moment. And now I invite you to bring the chin to the chest. Just taking a moment to slowly begin to come back into this space. You could wiggle fingers and toes, rub your hands together. Just welcome you back in, taking a moment to acclimate. And what I invite you to do is, once again, in this space, give yourself that self-assessment. Now, how expansive and connected energetically are you feeling? Is there any shift or transformation from when we started this experience, this conversation to the end, and how you may be feeling in this moment? What's different for you? Has that number shifted? And are you feeling differently? And that experience, those emotions have energy. So when they're beautiful, that feels so much better. So my hope is that you've noticed that somewhere on that scale, you have a shift and a change, which is amazing. And so as we close today, we're going to talk about your superpower toolbox. So harnessing your energy, when I say be the boss, what I mean is the more that we can attend to the idea that we've got those layers and we start using practices that help tuck them in and hold space for them and help heal them, the more effectively we feel like the boss in our businesses and our lives both. So this is where these tools become very powerful. So things like breath work. We did a short and sweet breath work practice today. Meditation that I brought you in. We actually did in a different order. We tapped, then we did meditation. So tapping just on that chest as we shift our thoughts, really powerful. Meditation. You'll notice that a lot of these things are actually addressing all layers of your body, which is what makes them really profound, which is really, really neat. So those are some great tools in your toolbox. Other great tools are things like movement, yoga, dancing, working out, going for a brisk walk. Anything that's really moving vitality through your body will also really easily shift your energy. So if you're having a tough day, having a tough minute, it's really important to just take a mini break if you have to and do some breath work. You can do that anywhere, right? No one knows you're doing it. but honestly getting up, getting out of your chair and actually removing yourself from the space that you're in, and maybe even your business proper or your home, and just getting out is really powerful. Nature is a really beautiful healer. So I really suggest doing some movement. And when you can add in Mother Nature, it's an extra bonus. But if you can't, even if it's a gym or going to your basement and doing some work, if you work from home, doing something that's just moving the body and getting that blood flowing is going to be really good for your body and its system, and helping your mind have a break. So that creates a really nice energetic shift. So does music and sound. So the power of music, and I know we've probably heard this a million times in our lives, but I think it is truly so powerful to imagine. I have sound bowls behind me that you can't probably very well see, but the power of sound healing and music is really important. So it's a really great tool if it is something you already really enjoy. You can have something as soft as nature sounds playing in the background if you like rain or thunderstorms, the sounds of the ocean, or if there's a certain kind of music that you really prefer in the background. All of that's really powerful. Putting in an AirPod or two, spending a little bit of time, just getting in another space by listening to music that really elevates you and lights you up. So powerful, and a really kind of quick turnaround. So I love quick and easy tools to give people so that you can kind of use these as at will, right? So it's, I'm in a minute and I really could use something to shift my perspective and my energy because I want to show up much more elevated. These are great tools for that. Singing, you're not probably going to throw this out there at your workspace. I get it. But let's just say you have the capacity to get in your car over lunch and you get to be a rock star in your car. It is really powerful to get out there and actually use your voice. It's a really beautiful activator energetically. And so even getting in your car and humming a tune, singing a hymn from church, whatever it is that works for you, right? I love chanting and all those things. I do a lot of that through yoga. So whatever it is that you like, even if it's your favorite song, or again, that song that lights you up, rather than just listening, incorporating in your voice. No one gets to hear you. It's just you in there. So let it all out and use that space to really energetically elevate yourself and shift things around. Things like energy work are really important. I'm not going to sit and educate on all that today because that's like a whole nother workshop and that would take too much time today. But I just want to say that there are lots of different kinds of energy work out there, like Reiki, emotion code. There's lots of things out there. And I really do recommend that we do that kind of work, because much like someone would go to a psychologist if you were struggling with some anxiety or some stress and things like that, we also would want to go to an energy worker to help us shift and move energy, because sometimes it's hard to see the forest for the trees, right? And so that's what energy workers will do, is step in with you, join with you, and help partner to elevate, move, and shift and transform energy into something that is helping remove old blocks and create space for new things to flow in. A really powerful tool. Energy clearing, lots of ways to do that. Honestly, I teach people just to go around their heads and literally throw their hands to the floor. Like you're actually taking energy, which I know sounds really weird. Super easy to do. I just wipe my hands over my head and fling my fingers to the earth, and all I'm doing is recycling energy. I've even done that down the sides of my body, the front of my body, the back of my body, and even underneath my feet. So a really short and sweet tool, but something that you can do nonetheless, because again, if you're going to do these tools, this is like one of those, hey, I'm going to take a restroom break. I'm going to do a breathwork practice, and I'm going to do this. I'm just shaking things out. I need a minute. I put my AirPod in, I listen to a quick tune, then I go back to my desk. Some of these are really neat because they can quickly harness and shift energy, so you're not having to have a whole big practice. But we're going to talk about the power of doing them with more consistency for sure. So then we're also talking about things like journaling, aromatherapy, right? Which is just scent. So if that's something that you enjoy, not everyone does. Some people have really serious allergies, but if you can use a little aromatherapy, that can be a really nice little tool to kind of shift you out of your space. Peppermint is a fave, lavender is a fave, citrus is beautiful. It kind of will help bring some vibrancy and wake us up a little bit. That's a really beautiful tool to use as well. And coaching, right? Just getting support. What I will say about coaching, why I would even throw that on here, is that as you're looking at your toolbox, anything where we can harness support outside of ourselves can be really like a super booster. The reason is that we want to harness the use of these tools, not just in the minute, but rather try to create a practice of a handful of these. This is where I think really deep healing works. And it's why I coach the way that I do, is so that we're tapping into the layers of these. So if we're made of layers, our healing should reflect it. And so we want to go in and we want to have that same idea where we tap into these various modes and modalities to help pull that in to have an even greater and expansive experience and shift. And so, what I would really encourage people to do if you're listening today, and some of this has piqued interest, is begin to develop a relationship with some of these areas of healing. So, you might say, I'm going to start meditation and I'm going to do 5 minutes a day. That's amazing. And then you might add a little something in. Now, I'm going to learn a little bit about breath work. And instead of only ever doing these things when I'm in crisis, I actually do them on a regular basis so that when I am feeling a little bit more stressed and strained and I need some extra super boosting power, I've already got this skill in my pocket, right? So there's nothing like learning something and harnessing it so that when I'm in a tough place, I've already got the tool right here. I already know exactly what to do with it, okay? And which forms work best. So that's really what I recommend in a more general way so that you can access those tools and use them most effectively for your business and your life, of course. So I have a free gift for you. I do believe that all of these things will be in socials that you'll be getting through the summit. So I'm not going to go through all of that, but I just want you to know I do have something to help. If any of this was something that you might be interested in learning more about, there is a gift that I'll be giving you and you can access that through the summit materials. So I just want to let you know that that's there. And I just want to say thank you. You know, to me, this is one of the greatest gifts is being able to teach and speak to these different things that I have uncovered that are really meaningful and powerful, kind of super boosting powers and energetic forms that you get to be the boss of, that you have a superpower riding around with you all the time that really gets neglected in our culture. And so always that tendency to kind of lean into the things that we just really know are already here. This is another layer that might go kind of unseen. It's like an unsung hero. And so I just want to make sure that you know that's running around with you and that it is one of literally your best tools that you can harness and use to elevate both your business and your life. So I hope that you took a lot away from today. I hope that it was at least a taste enough to get you interested and intrigued on continuing to grow a practice. And I just want to say thank you so much for being here, that I am Jennifer Zenz-Olson of Laughing Lotus Wellness, and such a pleasure to share time and space with you today. And I hope that this entire summit lights you up and helps you live a more magical and connected experience of your energy in your business and your life. Take care, everyone.